Beautiful. Is it hot in here or is it me? I set myself up for that one. A divine pickup line. Is it hot or is it you? Thank you, Denise, for opening the door. I think that might help a little bit. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle.
It's hot. The mic is hot.
It's a hot mic, yes. I mentioned last week that during my 8 months away from New York, various scriptural references kept coming during my meditation time. And one of these we heard Debbie share a few minutes ago, the parable of the prodigal son. Now, of course, the powerful message of the story is that no matter how far we tend to wander from God, God is always here to welcome us back. We didn't really go anywhere. In our own minds, we just created an alternate reality. It's also a metaphor for us leaving the other side and coming to the planet for however many decades that we're here, to remember that God is never far away. God is always right here. We come to ourselves and remember I can always return to my source. But as I was meditating, I could say, well, I can't see how this really applies to me. In the original King James Version, it says that the son indulged in riotous living. I love that term. I like that even more than wild living. Riotous. I wasn't living riotously at all in Palm Springs. I mean, I was beginning a new church at a senior center. There was nothing riotous about it whatsoever. But it continued to appear in my meditation time. So I said, all right, obviously there's something for me here, and I'll just have to keep meditating on it. And the impact became even clearer as I began my journey back east, and I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. But as I said, today we're beginning a series of talks on our 5 core beliefs that we have here at Spiritual Arts Center. And as I've been contemplating and meditating, why begin a new center when there are so many things in New York City? What makes us different? What makes us unique in the New Thought metaphysical community here? And it came to me that we all need to remember the truth that we are creative. To access our divine good, we have to be creative in doing so. You have to create your life. You're given the raw tools, and like a painter or an actor or a singer, you have to then apply it to make it an art, to make it work. And that the truth is, everything that we need is already here inside of us. Already here right now. Everything you need for a successful life, you're not going to get from outside of yourself. It's only from within. We already do know it's here. It's already present. We just have to, and the real hard work is going deep. That's the hard work, going deep within. Whenever I do a talk, my number one prayer is, God, let me go deep. Because that's where we live. Not the surface platitudes, not a lovely affirmation, it's all good, but the deep soul stuff that we need to root out, bring forth so our healing can happen. Plato taught that what we call learning really is just the process of recollecting. The word education doesn't mean to feed, it means to draw forth. Educare means to bring it forth because it's already here. But if we've been here on the planet a number of times, as we believe, as many mystics and advanced spiritual teachings say, we have been to the planet in many different bodies a lot. Then why does it seem that life is so difficult even though we have been here before and you think we've gone through this rigmarole? We should be a little more on top of it than we are. Surely we've learned something from the last few dozen times we've been here. My Bible professor in seminary he said he didn't disbelieve reincarnation, but he said, I've got my doubts. He said, when I think back of when I was a teenager, he said, nobody could be such a dumbass as me and have lived before. Because you think I would have had some of this stuff, but no, nothing worked. I was so dumb that I had to learn really the hard way through my whole teenage life. So I find it impossible to think that I have done this before because nothing seemed familiar to me. So if we are these incredible, powerful spiritual beings, as we affirmed this morning, then why do our lives seem to have so many challenges, so many bumps, so many crises, so many emotional brush fires that make the Kardashians look like the Brady Bunch? Like they have nothing on me. I could have my own reality show. Oh, so much more is going on in my life than them. We have relationship dynamics, we've got health concerns, we've got financial worries, we've got career building that goes on, up and down. Not to mention, each one of us trying to solve the political problem in Washington, D.C. by ourselves. If they would simply listen to me, everything would be fine. Sally Kemp sends her love to everybody here. Sally Kemp, a lot of you know from uptown. She now lives in California. She had her stomach removed from cancer, and she's thriving. She does not have any cancer anymore. Yeah, so we're very good. Now, she does have other challenges. She has to get a blood transfusion every couple of weeks. I call it her vampire fix. She gets rehydrated, and she's a little dizzy, but, she's bopping along. She's joyful. She's grateful. But the thing that her daughter told her, Mom, you cannot do this anymore. I know it's a great hobby of yours. You cannot watch the news and tell it what to do. She has been forbidden from watching the news anymore. She said, you know what, I feel better. I feel really good now that I don't know what's going on. So for your own health, if you yell at the television, turn it off. Turn it off, because it's not healthy for you. You can't do it. Hold it in prayer and know that God is at work. So here we are with these constant plate spinning things, trying to keep all the plates going. Like on the Ed Sullivan Show, I love that. Keeps the plates going, all 10, 12. And that's what our lives feel like over and over again, trying to keep everything from crashing onto the floor. And beyond that, when we have time to think about it, we have the great existential questions of life. Who am I? Who am I really? When I was 16, I said to my dad, I said, I really want to find out who I am. I'm a couple Scorpios, but it's always been a part of who I am. And he said to me, I'll tell you who you are. You're Paul Tenaglia. Case closed. I said, that's my label. You gave me that. I didn't even choose it. You gave me that, but I want to find who am I? What makes me tick? Why are we here on this weird little planet? It is a weird little planet. And why am I here? What am I doing here? Do I matter? Is what I'm doing here really all that important? And where am I ultimately going? I'm here doing what I'm doing. Where am I going? What am I heading toward? Does all this fretting and hoping and wishing and praying and projecting and self-convincing really amount to anything? Or am I being delusional? Are we just here on Sunday morning when we could be in bed, resting, all of a sudden we go, I gotta go. Why? Why are you here? Why am I here? What are we doing? Is life meaningful or just a cosmic accident? Thousands of years of religion, philosophy, scientific reasoning, and mysticism have attempted to answer, and nobody can agree with anybody. Everybody has their own take on it. As Louis sang in that beautiful song from Yentl, if not to hunger for the meaning of it all, then what's a soul for? Why have a mind if not to question? Why? Who? What? What's going on here? The only way we can truly know our identity is to quit asking the world, who am I? And go within and ask your soul, your spirit, who am I? What am I doing here? Because you know. You're not going to be educated from outside. You're going to know from within. When you be quiet long enough, let the fear go long enough to hear, you've got a divine purpose here on the planet. The planet will never tell you the truth. The planet will never tell you the truth because the planet is invested in you not knowing the truth. The planet doesn't want you to know the truth because then the planet loses control of who you are. They've lost you because you've awakened to you. They don't like that. The outer planet lives on our uncertainty, on divisiveness, on insecurity, on our fear. There's a lot of money to be made out there in fear. Watch any commercial. You have bad breath, you're not going to be loved. Wrong deodorant. Move to another country. I've fallen and I can't get up. Oh my God. For them, whoever them are, fear of competition, fear of being unsafe, fear of being a failure, fear of being sick and infirm, fear of being alone, fear of being poor. As I mentioned earlier, somebody from uptown said, well, Paul is a failure. I said, oh, really? That's what I began to giggle. I went, really? I said, we had a pretty good run, 16 years up there. That's a pretty good. And every church I've applied to, I got into, and I went to Palm Springs, and it didn't work for a number of reasons. Is that a failure? No. You go try something. You step out and try something. The world will say, oh, he's a failure. But you know the truth. You went to try something. Oh, well. You opened a big Broadway show. Okay, it didn't work. You're a failure? No, you tried something. Lucille Ball said, I will always try something. I'd rather not regret trying something because I learned something from it. I had a great time doing it. I had a great time in Palm Springs. It was great. But okay, this was not my place. So I'm coming back to my place. But you have to go there sometimes to find out where your place is. Never be afraid of failing, because there's no failure. There's just giving something a shot and going, oh, that was interesting. That was fun. I'm leaving now. I love all you 98-year-olds. You're very sweet. But this was not my place, and that's okay. You try it. It's like you go on a date. You go on a blind date, you go, hi, you're very interesting. I don't see this going forward, but do you want to share a dessert? Is that a failure? No, you try something, and then you move forward. Television executives keep you addicted to this idea of failure. Presenting an uncertain world that if you follow our way, it'll be fine. Can we keep the door open? I think we're losing some air here. I'm losing some air. Can we keep the back door open, Denise? Thank you so much. A reporter recently shared that executives at Fox News admitted that facts presented on that network were skewered, and I think the word they used was massaged. Massaging the truth. I love that. Because their main audience of older conservative white males had a specific worldview that if presented differently, they would turn it off. So they said, we have to present it in a way that will keep them watching and keep them afraid. That can be said for any news network. Stay tuned, we're going to tell you about an awful thing happening. Oh my gosh, I can't turn the TV, I have to stay here. Will there be a major storm coming? I don't know. Will there? No, it's going to be fine. Oh, okay. That can be said for books and magazines and programs, political or religious groups, that say, we have the truth, and if you don't follow us, not only are you the enemy, but you're evil. You may even have people in your life who are worried about you because you're living a life that they don't agree with. You're not living their prescribed way of living. You live in New York, for God's sake, where is your gun? You've got to carry a gun. You're in New York, don't go out after sundown. They haven't been here. This is a safer city. When are you going to get married? I want you to get married, but I don't want to I want you to get married and have kids. Why? Because I want them. I want grandkids, but I don't want children. I want them. What's wrong with you? You're being bad. When are you going to stop this writer, actor, musician, designer nonsense and get a real job? You're an embarrassment to the family. Come home and marry Harold. He's been waiting for you. There's a reason why Harold's been waiting for you. He can't marry anybody else. He doesn't want it. It's not working for him. Come on, get with the program. Have you stopped being a lesbian yet? I have the perfect man for you. Well, you're the perfect man would be a woman, so stop doing that. The Bible says things of the Spirit are foolish to the world, and things of the world are foolish to the Spirit. We are creating spiritual art centers, Plato said, to remind our souls of what we already know. This is a spiritual universe run under spiritual law. And that you are a sacred, spiritual, creative being, loved, supported, and watched over by a loving, supportive, powerful, creative universe. Participating in the divine drama playing out in a human role. That you knew you came to play because you had to go through it to learn about you. Forgetting that it is only a role you've chosen and not your true identity. It's only a role that you have put on this time to learn about the power of you. As the great metaphysician Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely what? Players. We're just playing a role. We chose to come here. We said, I'm going to go, here's my life path. I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. Now it can change depending on where you are and depending on a new lesson you want to learn, but essentially you came here to learn a number of things. And when your soul said, well, we got that one, we're going to go play somewhere else in the universe, then you will gently and joyfully leave the body behind and go play somewhere else. So what we're doing here at this wonderful center is reminding each other, here's the truth. The first core belief we have is God, creative spirit, whatever word you want to use for God is absolutely fine. You want to call God Helen or Boo-Boo, it doesn't matter, God doesn't care. God, creative spirit, is the perfect, eternal, unchanging, ever-present good in my life. Number one, God is good, period. End of discussion. There is not good and or good but. God is good. And number two is the other side of the coin. Since we are one with God, creative spirit, we are divinely, perfectly, unquestionably good. Because God is good, you are good. Goodness can only create goodness. God is not a cranky old white man watching Fox News or any news at all. Get that? It's really a hard one to dislodge from your head. Whenever when you say the word God, you think Charlton Heston, beard, cranky, waiting to get us. The truth is, God is the one and only reality of the universe. God is all. There's only God. God is our Father, Mother, Creator that knows who and what you are and knows that you are his, her, perfect, divine, creative, astonishing being. God couldn't possibly love you more at this very moment than God ever will or ever has. God is the unchanging, eternal present principle of all good and doesn't vary or waver ever. It's what we tap into, that wonderful divine energy of love. We're the ones who change. We grow. We open ourselves up according to our understanding of divine law of good that permeates every single bit of our being. We know more about the body. We know more about healing. We know so much more now than we did 20 years ago. There are drugs we have now. Why did we have them 20 years ago? Because it's an unfolding process. We know how to fly planes. The principle of flying has always been. But you don't go from first grade math to calculus in one fell swoop. It's an unfolding process. The more we learn, the more we know. The more we know, the more it comes to us. So God is always present. The divine principles are always there, but we're awakening to them more and more as we accept. I am divine. I'm perfect. Perfect, again, doesn't mean flawless. It just means complete. Nothing missing from this child of God. So God is who and what you are. You are the fullness of all the ideas of God in one package. As a dog gives birth to a puppy, and a cat gives birth to a kitten, an apple tree can only create apples, God can only birth God. God can only give birth and express God through you as you. God, good, can only create good. You are so good. You are creative. As our elder brother shared, your God's useless for God. When you know, greater things will you do than even I'm doing right now. Years ago, a young woman came to me at a church I was serving. She was suicidal, no self-esteem whatsoever. Meek as a mouse, she'd been sexually abused as a child until she was a teenager by a family member. She didn't care at all about personal appearance. She was abusing her body by cutting. After learning the truth about her beautiful divine self, she began to bloom in ways that amazed me, and I've been watching this for 25 years. She became a new individual. She bloomed into who she was. And it only took a few months. She really began, the Spirit really led her to us. She began to bloom. She began to speak clearly in a very beautiful, powerful voice. She quit all self-abuse. She told her family she would no longer accept being treated as anything less than the creation of God that she deserved to be. And her family said, "Who is this? We never met her before. Who is this person in front of us?" So if she can do it, you can do it. She was lower than low. Suicidal. She said, "I don't belong on the planet. I just hate myself. I got to get out of here." She had a new thought, a new awakening, and she's a new person. So our second teaching, you are God's creation as perfect as God is perfection. Creative as God is creativity. Loving as God is love, and wise as God is wisdom. So whatever God is, you have that to express through you for your creative good. You are good because goodness created you and continues to do so every moment of every day. Are we getting this? Do you hear this?
Got it.
Good. 2 people, 3, good. The rest of you are meditating on it. It's very warm in here. You're hot, I know. That woman I talked about did get it, and it only took a few weeks. From maiming herself to adoring herself. You can do it too. Can you begin to see the truth of that for you? That maybe I can change my mind about my finances, my career, my relationship, who I am as an individual. Maybe your life can be wonderful after all. Well, you know what? It can. And you came here today to remember that. God brought you here, your God within brought you here to remember you've got it. You've got it. There's nothing you need to learn from out here, but inside, let it flow forth. When the prodigal came home, what did the father say? When the prodigal begged him to make him a mere servant, "I'm unworthy." "Oh no, don't even do that. If you could, give me a few crumbs, I'll be happy." What did the father say? Nothing. Nothing. He ignored him. The request to treat him poorly was ignored. The father told the servant to get the best clothing, the best jewelry, the best of everything. "Put it on my son. He was dead, he's back." Party time. It's party time. It's time to celebrate because we are one. Wow. So what does that say about you? What does the story say about you and your relationship with your Creator? The prodigal came to himself and said, "What's a nice Jewish boy feeding trays to pigs?" Or even dealing with trays. Right? Oh, this is wrong. I could have had a V8. I got to go home. Came to, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And every one of us has that awakening at some point. What am I doing? Why am I in a job that I hate, that I despise? Why am I not doing what I love? I'm an actor. I'm not a waiter. I'm not a temp. I'm an actor. I'm a singer. This is what I do. And when you know that, the universe will open up. But I hear often, "Well, I'm an actor, but there's no work." Oh. So what the universe hears, there's no work. Because the but part you give more energy to. "Well, I'm an actor, but there's no work. So therefore there's no work for you." I'm in a marriage that doesn't work for me anymore. I am putting up with an addict's abuse. Why am I not having a happy life? You've got to come to yourself and say, it can be different, it can be better. Why am I living in Palm Springs when I don't want to be here? Oh, gotta go. Here are 3 things I want you to work on this week. To remember your powerful divine self. So when you feel not that self, I want you to remember these. I see only a couple of people writing things down here. Turn on your recorder. You record this. Number 1, faith and passion are essential. You've got to believe that the universe is for you, and you've got to have the energy to move yourself forward. Passion and enthusiasm are the fuel that drive you. You've got to get excited. Like I said with our affirmation, I'm joyful, loving, powerful. My blood sugar's down. Now I don't. I am loving, powerful, joyful. You've got to raise yourself up in the realization that God is here and at work. And if God is, what am I afraid of? Coming back to the city, I went, oh, can we do this? Yeah, God said, yeah. He did it before. When people complain, we'll be getting a new spiritual center, I say, have you met me? This is what I do. Oh, okay, God, I listen to God. I move forward to do what I'm here to do. Affirm that the planet is not your source. God is. There's nothing out there for you. It comes from here. It may appear out there, but it came from here. Unplug from the world. Think of having this plug that you're getting your energy. Where are you getting your energy source from? If you plug into the world, it's going to be hit or miss. It's going to be low level. It's going to be on and off, and it's not going to work. Replug inside, where the divine source is always moving, always fresh, always powerful. Go in here and say, this is where my energy is. I don't get my energy from outside, maybe a little coffee in the morning, and then you plug within to do what you need to do. There are a few coffee drinkers here. Okay, that's fine. If you plug into the world, you get anxiety and fear. If you plug in here, you get joy and energy. God's love, God's power, passion, enthusiasm, love, faith, all here waiting for you to access it, to go there with it. When you feel weak and run down, close your eyes and picture unplugging from the world and plugging into that wonderful, beautiful light. Have faith that God is at work in you now to bring forth all the good that you need. Number 2, here's a hard one, forgive. Forgive, 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 forgive. That's what we're here to do. Forgiveness is really love, just clothing in a different kind of sort of way. But it's really about love. It's hard to forgive until you do, and then when you do, it's easy. It's letting the ego go enough to say, I need to do this. In 2006, the American Psychological Association declared that forgiveness was itself a major health problem for our country. They did a research and a declaration on this. It was so important, they said, we need to get it out there. They said the lack of forgiveness was a measurable reality and that we have to forgive if we are going to be healthy. Bottom line. Not to absolve others from their responsibility. That really doesn't have anything to do with us. We're not condoning what they did, but we're forgiving literally for our health and well-being. As I said, one of the powerful things about the prodigal father is that he didn't respond to his son's protestations about being a sinner, about being unworthy, of being a terrible person. He just loved his son. That's all that mattered. If you think about your children or the people who are matter in your life, there may be issues, but you don't love them any less for what they have done or didn't do. He loved his son, and condemnation was not part of his consciousness. It wasn't even an issue. We only forgive when we condemn. The father never condemned. Therefore, there was no need to forgive. Every time I asked him, he said, so what did the father say? He said, oh, I forgive you. He said, he never said anything of the kind. He just said, bring the clothing, bring the jewelry, let's party. He's back. That's all. There was never any, I forgive you, good boy. Tell me what you learned. None of that. Like, you're home, yay. Let's get going. As we emulate our Creator by creating, we also have to let go of what others have or have not done in our lives. Because when we don't forgive, we think, this person has power. And you keep them on your back until you let them go. We don't want this person in our lives. So why are you carrying them? Why, when their name comes up, you start twitching? Start breathing heavy, you start getting stressed. Because you're giving them power. We don't give them power. We unplug from them, we plug into God. We say, you don't have anything to do with my life anymore. God bless you. I let you go. In California, I use the example of somebody leaving, your husband leaving you after 25 years, and then your world is turned upside down. And a woman came up to me in tears after the service, and she said, you've been reading my diary. I wasn't going to come today, but Spirit just woke me up and wouldn't let me go back to sleep. She said, my husband of 25 years left me a few months ago. And she said, I want him dead. I just want to see him strung up. by every limb and quartered and skewered. After hearing what you said, I forgive him. Because I get now that what he did wasn't done to me. He did what he did because he was unhappy. And he had to leave. I thought everything was wonderful. I loved him. We were having a great life, and apparently it wasn't wonderful. But now, after these few months, I feel I have my freedom back. I can move on now. I can love him for who he is. It still hurts, but I have to let him go. I forgive him. And the tears are just flowing through the whole thing. She got, I have to let it go if I'm to have the life that I need. You have to forgive. I have to forgive daily. Daily. Every morning I say, okay, God, is there anybody I need to forgive? And like a second grader will come to mind. Really? Okay, I forgive. I forgive little Timmy for throwing me into the locker. Okay, fine. Done. There's no way around it. Believe me, I've looked. I tried to not forgive, but we have to forgive. Let the love flow to say, I bless you, give him back to God, and get on with your life. You don't have to like the person. We're not calling you to like the person, but you do have to love them. From afar. Maybe they're in Connecticut. You're in New York, you stay here. You don't have to have dinner with them. But we don't let them run our lives anymore. We don't let them interfere with the emotions of who we are anymore. It's your life. It isn't anybody else, so reclaim your life, bless them, and give them back. And the third one, reclaim your joy. You've got to reclaim your joy. You've got to do in your life what gives you great joy, because only with the great joy can you have great creativity. With great creativity, then you create who and what you are. As Meister Eckhart said in the 13th century, joy is the most ineffable sign of the presence of God. When you have joy, you've got God. When you think joy, think God. So what gives you joy? Your assignment for today is you've got to indulge at least for 1 hour in what gives you joy. Woo. Today. Not tomorrow, not Thursday, because you're going to forget about it. I know you. Because I know me. Go to the theater. Paint. Get the paint out. You bought the paint a year ago. Get the paint out. Watch a movie. Cook dinner. Play with the dog. Knit. Call a friend you owe a call to that you've been missing. Oh, I forgot again. Do something joyful because you deserve it. You deserve to have at least a bit of joy every day. How can you do that? Commit yourself to having joy. No more BS. Bashing self. No more bashing yourself. No more depriving yourself. No more dishonoring the divine being that you are. Get off it, as Edwin Gage would say. Activate the power of your divinity by loving yourself as your Creator does. Neurosurgeon Eben Alexander died and went to the other side of life. He came back to share an astonishing story and to say that science has it all wrong about what life is. He said they have a part of it, a very important part. He said, even I didn't believe what happened when I went to the other side. And in his book, The Map of Heaven, he wrote, this earthly realm is, I believe, where we are meant to learn the lessons of unconditional love, compassion, forgiveness, and acceptance. Our ability to fully learn the most important lessons of life depend on our being partially veiled from that more complete knowing that our higher selves possess between lives. He means that we have a limited knowledge of the full meaning of why we're here on purpose. Because we're not meant to have that whole thing all laid out. We're here to discover it little by little. It's like a mystery. You don't read the back of the book, well, my grandmother did. She always wanted to know who killed somebody at the end of a mystery. But that doesn't work that way for us. We have to do the whole thing to find out what the whole story is. The full meaning of why we have taken on these human bodies here seems a mystery and insane right now. But as you go through your life, and when you're finally done with it years later, you will look back and say, oh, okay. I did that and I learned that and I learned that and here's where I loved myself, here's where I didn't. And when I went to spiritual arts center, I began to love myself from then on. Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Everything we need to know will be revealed before, when we need to know it, not before. When you need it, it'll be there. How is not up to you until you need how. Trust that your Creator knows exactly what to do for you and through you, for your life to work. Your detour as a prodigal son was necessary to come back stronger, more knowledgeable, more faith-filled, more joyous, and more loving. It's a divine journey that you signed up for before you got here. You're not here by fluke. You chose to be here. You chose to come through your parents. Take a breath. You really did. You chose your friends. You chose your family to learn your power. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Take a breath again. Close your eyes. And turn within. Replug yourself into your God source. Breathe in. We don't breathe enough. Breathe real deep. Hold it for a second and let it out. Let go of the stress, the fear, the anxiety. Nothing to be anxious when God is in charge. And as we begin our meditation song, let Spirit reveal. I have a wonderful life waiting for you. It's here right now. Let go and know I'm at work.